Man, if you'd have told me a year and a half ago that I would be making this video like this, I would have said, man, ain't no way. Just because of where my creative juices were going at that time, I really wanted to debut this change in front of you guys, but with a cinematic approach, with a message to showcase that this business was here and we were here to stay, and we were here to really make an impact and change lives, right? And man, it's just crazy that a year and a half later, I'm here in my backyard talking with each and every single one of you, man. And man, first and foremost, y'all know how I get down. I give all the praise to the Most High and His Son for giving me the opportunity to be able to speak to you guys today and to debut this message, man, this change. And I'm not gonna do any fancy transitions, going from one part to the video to another. This isn't the video for that. This is a message to each and every single one of you from a place that's near and dear to my heart, man. I reflect on my time as a content creator. I reflect on the beginning stages of the Heavy Hitter Bully Crew, when I first created the name, when we first got Ghost. I think about those great memories that I had at my mother's home, and Ghost being the first dog that I trained, and what that journey was like, man. I think about all of it, and you got to bear with me with this, right? You guys saw my journey in front of the camera from the very beginning. You saw me and my family. You saw the family vlogs. You saw me training Ghosts. You saw me going to the ABKC shows. You see me do so much. You basically see my maturation as a man. You saw the evolution of me. And this video is very bittersweet, man, because I think back and I think about everything. You know, this is obviously a chapter in my life that is on its closing end, right? Because as all of you know, when you open up a book, you have chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, etc. But as all of you know, there's a beginning page and there's an ending page. And we're at the point right now where we are closing out the chapter on the Heavy Hitter Bully Crew. And man, it's just crazy when I think back to all the long days, the early mornings, the long nights, putting together the videos, going to places and filming Ghost, and just trying to be as creative as I could with no videographer, no one to teach me how to edit, me teaching myself, and going back to me speaking on a camera, well, in front of a camera, and then finding my flow on camera, then finding my comfort on camera. And I started seeing the power of content creating and what it provided to me. It was kind of like a form of therapy to me. And when I think back to it, I'm just so grateful for the memories and the moments that the Heavy Hitter Bully Crew provided to me, man. And you know, at the time when I created the name, I'm going to disclose some information about myself. I'm from New Jersey, and I was a baseball player and a DJ. Now, if you're from the tri-state area and you're a DJ, you know the significance of the Heavy Hitter DJ group. And growing up, man, I wanted to do two things. It was play baseball professionally, and if it wasn't that, become a member of the Heavy Hitters and be a DJ within that group, and branch its way out towards private events. And hopefully, you never know where that road could go. Maybe you could become one of the best DJs globally known, right? And when I first got into this, right, I just started saying, you know what was my journey like growing up, right? And obviously the connection with DJing, Heavy Hitter, and that needed to be up front, right? Because the thing was gonna be, we don't produce pups, we produce heavy hitters. And that sounds tough, right? But at that time, I just started realizing everything, man, from a marketability aspect, right? Going back to the name, right? Heavy Hitter, and then Bully, the dog group the dog breed that we were going to be breeding, and Crew, my family, right? But when we go to a marketability aspect, right? How does HHBC sound on, you know, let's say a podcast platform? Or let's just say, how would that logo look on t-shirts, hats, crew necks, hoodies? And now I got to start thinking about globally, right? I got to start thinking as a business owner, what is best for this business? And even I want to say on this journey, about after a year, I started realizing that, hey, you know what, man? I think we have to change it up. And I knew then that I was going to do a brand change. I wasn't too sure when. I just wanted to see how everything transpired with the Heavy Hitter Bully Crew. And man, it's just crazy thinking about it at that time, where we were at that time, to think about where I'm at now. It's just crazy how everything has transitioned. But when I reflect back at that time, Heavy Hitter Bully Crew standing for everything that I felt at that time. And like I said, you guys were with me when I was just this young buck with a dream. You know, I wanted to showcase my dogs. I wanted to showcase my dog training. I wanted to showcase my family. This started off as a vlog channel. Look at how everything has just evolved. And that's how it was supposed to start, man. And I wanted to create something great, but something that would impact lives. And it's crazy that we're closing out this chapter. And I just wanted to take this time to reflect and say thank you to each and every single one of you. You have no idea how near and dear you all are to my heart. You were a part of, man, me maturing into becoming the man that I am today. And I'm just so grateful for it. But like I said before, every chapter has its end. And today we officially close out that chapter on the Heavy Hitter Bully Crew. But that doesn't mean we're going anywhere. Right now, for the first time, we're going to introduce the brand change. Let's get into it. So, for the first time, you guys, it is your boy Al with the Underdog Dynasty Kennel. Sheesh. Man, it feels so good to finally say that after thinking about the journey that we've been on for the last year and a half to make this change happen. And I'm just so grateful, man. I truly mean that, for all of the support that we've gotten. I'm just so grateful to each and every single one of you that followed us when we were the Heavy Hitter Bully Crew. And man, I spoke about this earlier, but just you guys saw the evolution of me as a person, you know, and it's just so humbling that I'm finally able to debut this. But first and foremost, right, we talk about marketability. So as you could tell right away when we start talking about the UDK way and we start talking about UDK compared to HHBC, obviously you can see how it flowed. The UDK way sounds better. UDK, it's more marketable. We can create and get more creative with logos, t-shirt ideas, crew necks, hoodies, polos, whatever the case is, hats. We could get into a whole other element with the creative side, with the logo and just the 3 letters in itself, right? And that was one of the biggest primary focuses that I had behind the brand change. Now next, right, because as all of you know, I spoke about what went on behind the Heavy Hitter Bully Crew name and how I gave it that name, right? But on this journey, I found my faith, and as all of you know, I'm a big man of faith. I hold that near and dear to my heart. And I'm nothing without my man's up top, Jesus Christ. And I really mean that. And as all of you saw the progression. If you followed us on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, you saw I started posting Bible scripture in some of the photos or in the caption. And I started giving, you know, my thought process behind it and just making some comparisons to the Bible scripture and to what was going on in my life and just expressing my level of gratitude, right? And I felt like this next phase of the business was going to be God first. And as all of you saw, I always put in the descriptions of my channels, well, of my social media platforms, Isaiah 54:17, no weapon against me shall prevail. And Psalms 91:15, he will call on me and I will answer him. And I felt like those two really hold near and dear to my heart because first and foremost, I've been hit so many times and I'm still here. And Isaiah 54:17 was, man, it was just no doubt it had to become a part of what this business was. And Psalm 91:15, he will call on me and I will answer him. And I felt like this journey happened for a reason. I literally woke up one morning and I felt like I was destined to do more. And over the course of the time, my faith just, you know, it just grew. And I go back and I think about how all of this started. If I don't lose my dad, and it's getting a little bit more personable, if I don't lose my dad, I'm not here doing this for you all. And man, I just go back and I look at the beginning parts of this journey, and I just woke up one day and I felt like I was destined to do more. I just didn't know what. Over the course of time, I found my faith, and you know, I just felt like Psalms 91:15, that's something that really applies to myself. And you know, I'll even talk about something that's a little bit personal, right? My father's favorite psalm was Psalm 91, and he passed away. And what better way to honor my man's up top and to honor my father than to have that become one of the locks behind the Underdog Dynasty Kennel, right? And man, I'm just so grateful to my man's Jesus and his father Yahweh, man. Without them, I'm nothing, man. And sheesh, there's I would say it's a little emotional to talk about, because it really is, man. I think about everything that went behind to create this brand change, right? And man, when we're talking about Underdog, right, that was something that showcased who I am, right? Going back to explaining the Heavy Hitter Bully Crew process, right? The thought process behind that. Now we're going to the Underdog Dynasty Kennel. I've always felt at some point in my life I was always disrespected. I always felt like people thought I wasn't good enough. And I used to be told that too. Or your expectations are too high, your dreams are too high, you're never gonna amount to nothing, you have to think more realistic. And that's where the Underdog part comes in from, right? Because I said, when I created the Heavy Hitter Bully Crew, there was something that held something near and dear to my heart. And I always felt like, how can I take what's something that's near and dear to my heart, but spin a professional aspect on it? And that's when the Underdog part came in. And when we think of the part Dynasty, right, Underdog Dynasty, as all of you know, if you're a fan of a sports franchise, you understand what the term dynasty means. Dynasty is a sports franchise that has had a prolonged period of excellence, which also means that they've won multiple championships. And what better way than to uphold that standard for our dogs and for our training program than to have the dynasty portion implemented into the business name, right? And then obviously we added kennel after it, because we want to have our own breeding program one day. And if God bestows that blessing upon us, I would gladly have 20 to 30 dogs on a property being able to chase me on the ATV. But man, it's so surreal that I'm finally debuting this for each and every single one of you. Thank you to each and every single one of you who stood the duration of this video and heard this message. I just can't express enough my level of gratitude and appreciation to each and every single one of you to have grown a liking to this business, man, to grown a liking to this content, that have really just seen me mature as a man, and to see this whole journey. And before we conclude the video, you know how I get down. We give all the praise to the Most High and His Son for giving us the opportunity to be able to bring to you this video today. And man, the UDK way, baby. Man, it has a beautiful ring to it, but I'm just so grateful that it's here now. And going forward, you guys will be known as the Underdog Dynasty Kennel. Have a blessed day, you guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.